Hey everyone, we're back with podcast number 8, and my name is Jesse Van Grunbaum, and with me is my coworker and good friend, Sydney McCann. Sydney, 8 episodes in, thank you so much for putting up with us.
Yeah, it's been a good time.
It's been a great time. This week on our podcast, we're going to try and answer a key question on what does our ideal candidate for a future employee at GreenTree look like? Sydney, you've established a wonderful team. You've been with us for multiple years. You've seen some people come and go. From your experience, what are some key components that make an ideal candidate for joining GreenTree?
I think it's the combination of 2 key things. There needs to be a passion for the job. Mm-hmm. And inside that passion comes the compassion, the empathy, the kindness, the caring for the actual, care of the children and working in a team. And the other half of it is work ethic. It's
Absolutely.
Not an easy job. It's not something you can clock in and clock out and call it a day. You have to be dedicated and ready to work. So the work ethic is number 2.
Absolutely. What are some things that we're not looking for?
I guess exactly the opposite. Someone who's wanting to clock in and out, someone who's looking simply for the paycheck,
Yeah.
or somebody who doesn't already have that innate sense of empathy.
Mm-hmm. That's a hard thing to train for.
Yeah. When somebody comes in and they don't have that empathy in them, it is almost impossible to train it in. Mm-hmm. It's something that I find you just kind of have or you don't have.
We've talked about on some past episodes about like training and what we do to really ensure someone's success, and just some of those key timelines as we're checking in to really have that feedback loop of what's working, what isn't. Because at the end of the day, we're committed to making it work. We're in the business, if you will, of training people and giving it everything we got so someone can succeed. But from the early stages of an interview, because sometimes people will do so well during their interview, yes. And we go, this person, we need to do work with them. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't translate when they show up. And it's from my perspective, it's really about, is that person willing to show up? They talk the talk, but are they willing to, walk the walk? Is that the expression?
Yes.
I think it's the expression. And so we see that really quickly. And our commitment to them is being honest, saying what you said and what you're doing is not the same. What's going on? So we're definitely looking for people that have their heart in the right place. On some past episodes, we've talked about mental health, where it's really important that we see people that do self-care. They take care of themselves so they have enough to be able to take care of others. So on today's episode, it's really kind of like recapping on everything that we've talked about, from how does someone practice their own mental health? How is someone going to contribute to a good workplace culture? How will someone make sure that they get help if they need it, whether it be with their training or with their duties, or just connecting, with the people that we're serving? What would you share if someone said, what would it take to join GreenTree? Or what should I know about GreenTree? What should someone who's never applied know?
I think the biggest one is just knowing in yourself, what kind of caregiver are you? Are you somebody who thrives on providing care and building connection and being in a social environment? Or are you somebody who's more independent, wanting to work alone, prefers more administration work? You have to understand what it is that you yourself are looking for, because if you're not somebody who thrives in social environments and working with people and going in the community, it's not something that you're going to enjoy.
I think you touched on something that I'd like to bring back up is almost they need to be honest with themselves.
Yes.
Because really quickly, from the people they're caring for, from their support team to their management team, we're all very honest with each other.
Yep.
Hey, I'm not a good fit for this role. Or I can't do this type of task or job. But when people just try and stay on the DL and maybe hide the truth, so to speak, that always comes out. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that will lead to mutually needing to part ways because it isn't a good fit. I think we believe that everyone needs to be happy in their job and feel proud about it and have a sense of self-fulfillment. Mm-hmm. And if we see that someone isn't getting that from this type of employment, it's in everyone's best interest that they do find something that feels worthwhile to them.
Yeah, we talked about, I think it was 2 episodes ago, how this is the person served home. This is where they live. And if you're coming in going, oh God, I gotta go to work, I don't want to do this, the child feels that. And that you're directly putting that on them, saying you're not wanting to go in and care for this person who's entirely reliant on you for everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not to say that if you haven't done the job before, you can't be trained. I think a lot of people who have never done caregiving before are some of the best caregivers I've ever met. You know, this is their first time in the job. This was my first caregiving type of job, and I loved it. So you can take that chance. You can find out and learn about yourself as long as you're honest through the process.
100%. What do you think about the expression of like, let's hire for heart, not for skill?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think we can train. We can train for skill because, you know, if we really believe in person-centered philosophy and caring for the individual, you know, with and not for, the training that we provide, and we did touch base on this before in a past episode, but is so specific and unique to the individual, right? And we fully acknowledge that it would be impossible to always be the right fit for a specific person. But we're a big enough agency that we do have flexibility sometimes to kind of reshift and see if there's a better fit elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think hiring for heart, not skill, that speaks to what I just said with the empathy, right?
Totally.
It's so difficult to train empathy.
Yeah.
But skill, you know, you can train that. And you can train it if someone needs longer than somebody else. It's totally okay. Say you've never worked with a G-tube before with medically complex situations. That's something that can be trained and taught. Even if it takes maybe longer than other people, that's okay.
Yeah. And so focusing on people that bring compassion to the table, integrity, you know, that have that honesty bring forward, those are hard things for us to train for. So I'd say those are some pretty big things that we try and capture. And, you know, when it's a good fit, it's a good fit.
Yeah, 100%.
Sydney, so let's try and circle back to the question we first started off this podcast with, that is, if someone's out there listening and they're on the fence and they're not sure whether or not they should join or not, what would you share with them? We've touched base on what we think are some of the good points and you know, what we're looking for, but what would you share with someone that's thinking about applying?
I would say if you find yourself having a passion for working with those with diverse abilities and you haven't done it before, or you have done it before, just give it a chance. You know, it's something worth trying, and even if you haven't had that chance before, this might be it. You might be able to fulfill that passion.
Absolutely. I would say that we can commit to being honest, open, and very transparent about the process, and we would welcome anyone to call us or arrange for a one-on-one sit-down. The last thing that we want is anyone to walk in with surprises. Yeah. We believe in, you know, transparent operations, and we think that whoever joins, we want them to be successful. And that means mutually being honest and sharing what it is we have to offer, but also what we expect.
Yeah.
Huge thank you for putting up with us over the last 8 episodes. And I'd also like to say a big thank you to Sydney. Sydney, it's been great having you on the show, and it's just been great sharing our stories together.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I was very nervous. First podcast, but in the end, it ended up being fun.
Yeah, that's excellent. Until next time.
Till next time.
Awesome.